Welcome back to the Captain's Corner, everyone. And today we have our first season preview. Today we're going to start off with the Anaheim Ducks preview. So we're going to deep dive into, like, as you can see on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, what we're going to dive into today and what to expect. Hopefully these episodes get better as they go. Like, obviously more research will be done and stuff like that, but kind of just giving my opinion, kind of looking into what happened last year and what changes they made this off season. But yeah, that's what's going to happen today on these previews. So each team's going to get their preview. We're going to go in alphabetical order, so we're not picking favorites. We're starting with the Ducks. We'll go to the Coyotes next and just work our way down the list. So I'm going to try to get, well, obviously all these are going to be out before the season starts. Don't know how many a week we're going to do. Just kind of try to get them done as quick as possible so we can start regular episodes. But I do want to do season previews every year, and that's why we're going to be doing these. So yeah, we got the Ducks. And the first thing we're really going to break into, though, is what happened with them last season. So the Ducks were 31, 37, and 14 last year, was 7th in the Pacific. Kind of just looking at guys that performed well for them last year. Troy Terry kind of took that jump for them, a young guy. He led the team in points, 75 games played, 37 goals, 30 assists for minus 11, 26 PIMs. Next up was Trevor Zegras, another guy, a rookie that stepped up for them, 75 games, 61 points, 23 goals, 38 assists. He was a minus 21, but obviously he got more of the headlines for like his play, like his snazzy plays, like obviously the Michigan, the flip over the net, stuff like that. And he actually got graced with being on the cover of NHL 23 this year. So a young star, obviously he's getting a lot of attention in the sport, which is not a bad thing, honestly. A guy that's kind of outspoken, kind of says his own mind. So there's that. Adam Henrique had 42 points for them. Yeah, so then you can, after Zegras, you see a lot of drop off for last season. Cam Fowler had 42 points. Ryan Getzlaf, their captain, he played in 56 games, had 37 points. He is now retired. Kevin Shattenkirk obviously leads their defense. 82 games. He played all their games, 35 points. Sonny Milano, who's no longer on the team, had 34 points. Jamie Drysdale, a young defenseman, he's continuing to make strides in his young career. 81 games played, 4 goals, 28 assists for 32 points, but he was a minus 26. Raquel is no longer with them. He was up there for points for them. Silverberg. So we kind of got some random. They got a lot of younger guys in the lineup last year. Mason McTavish played 9 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. I expect him to be on the opening day lineup for the Ducks and stay with the team the whole year. They also had a couple guys like Perreault, Kindop, Tracy, Drew, Max Jones. They had a bunch of young guys get into a game. None of them really did much with that, but they did manage to get into a game. Goaltending-wise, John Gibson, there was a lot of talk this offseason with him. He is still with the team. He played in 56 games last year, 18 wins, 26 losses for 3.19 goals against average and a 904 save percentage. He will continue to be their guy. Can he have a bounce back year? He did struggle last year. He is a very solid goaltender. I think this is the right marker for him. It's just they got to get better around him defensively. But looking for him to have a bounce back year and to see where that kind of goes is, does he stay in Anaheim? Does he get a move? Like, there's so many goaltenders get moved. It's crazy. So I would not be surprised if he moves, but I guess we'll see there. Then Anthony Stolarz, the backup, he played in 28 games, 12 wins, 8 losses, 267 goals against, and a 917 save percentage. So he wasn't too bad. So yeah, Troy Terry led the way with 37 goals last year. Zegras had 38 assists, and Terry led it with 67 points. Standings-wise, Calgary finished in first, Edmonton, Kings, Vegas, Vancouver, San Jose, then Anaheim. The only team they beat out was Seattle, and they beat them by 16 points. And they only finished 1 game back of San Jose. So, yeah, that wasn't too bad for them. So that's what they did last year. And now let's kind of take a look at what they did this offseason. So obviously we got the departures of Sam Steele, Sonny Milano, Greg, like a bunch of guys, Jacob Lozon or Larson. Who was on there? Ryan Getzlaff. He retired, so he's not on the list on the screen, but he retired, so they lost their captain. But they did manage to bring in Ryan Strome, John Klingberg on a 1-year deal, which we'll get into that. But that's a guy that he's getting paid a lot for 1 year, and kind of see what happens. He's about to be 30-ish, and so if he plays well, it's a good fit. I'm sure they'll sign him to an extension. If not, he's a guy that they could shop at the deadline, really. They got a veteran defenseman. They have the cap space. They got veteran defensemen to come in and play with their young team, play with Shattenkirk, play with Drysdale, get those guys up and going, and I guess they'll see what happens there. But yeah, those are the big names of Ryan Strome and John Klingberg arrivals. So they got, I don't know, we're kind of looking at their cap hit. We'll get into their cap space soon, but just kind of looking at their UFAs and stuff also. But let's look at their projected lineup for this upcoming season. These are brought to you by the Daily Faceoff. So obviously these are subject to change, but these are what the experts are picking could be the lineups. Obviously got Adam Henrique, Trevor Zegras, and Troy Terry on the first line. I do like that. Could see Ryan Strome maybe making a jump to that first line, maybe moving Zegras down, depending on the play and stuff and the matchups. But Mason McTavish, Ryan Strome, and Frank Vatrano on the second line. I do like that, getting a veteran guy with some McTavish. Obviously, these are all subject to change, but obviously, these are guys that they're expecting to be in the NHL. Then you get into the bottom six, and it's okay. They got Comtois, Lidstrom, Silverberg, Jones, Grant, and Carrick. So, it's not a team that's blowing you out of the water with talent down the middle, but they do have a lot of young guys that they could bring up. Jacob Perreault, sure he'll get another shot to play in the lineup next year. There's a bunch of different guys. And then obviously looking at defense, you got Fowler as your number one. Drysdale, does he make that jump to the first pairing? Probably not. Maybe the second pairing guy. But you got Klingberg, Kulik, Shattenkirk, a bunch of guys there that can play. So for them, it's just really going to be about getting experience for these young guys. Calling up guys from San Diego, getting them into the lineup. And it's kind of seeing what they can do. Like, I don't know. Are they going to be buyers at the deadline? We don't know. It kind of depends what they're doing. They definitely could be sellers, but we'll get into that once we get into cap space. Obviously, the first power play unit, this could be really good. Troy Terry, Strome, Comtois, and Zegras with Klingberg. Klingberg will fit nicely, I think, as he does have a strong defensive, presence, but he does know how to get up and move the puck and get up along the boards, and which could help a young team with speed get up in transition. So, and then obviously the goalies remain the same. We got John Gibson and Anthony Stolarz. So that's what the projected lineup is. Who knows how much that's going to change? It's a team I could see it changing a lot. Like if Mason McTavish comes out, I don't picture him having a bad camp, but if he comes out has a bad camp, maybe they send him down the minors for a couple games, let him light it up there, get his confidence. But also he played so well. He played so well in the World Juniors. I picture him up in the NHL, maybe not a top 6 role, maybe top 9. I guess it kind of sees how the season goes. And I picture them having a team that's kind of just moves their lineup around a lot and doesn't really have a set lineup. But yeah, that's the projected lineup. And now let's move into kind of just some predictions for this year and kind of what to expect. They got Stanley Cup odds on, these are all going to be FanDuel Sportsbook, plus 7,500, which is actually pretty good odds for them. Considering, I thought there'd be a lot longer shots in that. Cap space, they got a ton of it. 16 million. Just a little over 16 million. So they got a lot of space. We'll break down and we'll kind of go into, we'll do it now actually. We'll go into their salary cap. So first, let's look at their draft picks. They got They have all their first rounders for the next 3 years. This coming year, they have 3 second rounders. They got the Avalanche, the Bruins, and their own. Then they got for the third round, they got the Wild and the Ducks. They have Adam Henrique for 2 more years at $5 million. Ryan Strome, obviously, they locked him up for a while at $5 million. But looking at pending free agents, they got Maxime Comtois coming up as a restricted free agent. Derek Grant as a UFA. Troy Terry as an RFA. He's making $1 million, 1.4. So if he comes out and has a big year, he could be a guy that gets a big payday. Same with Trevor Zegras. He's coming off his entry-level contract. And with the way the league's going now, he can be looking at an 8x8. That's what these teams are starting to pay these young guys by what they're going to do instead of what they've done. So he is a guy that I could see getting an 8x8 deal. Guess we'll see. Maybe they try to do a bridge deal, but maybe not. So yeah, he'll be coming off his RFA deal and probably be looking to get paid. Mason McTavish is just going to be starting his entry-level contract. Then defensively, they got John Klingberg at $7 million right now. He will be UFA. Kevin Shattenkirk's going to be UFA. He's getting paid $3.9 right now. Jamie Drysdale is coming off his RFA deal. They got a lot of guys coming off deals. Josh Mahal, Simon Bernard. John Gibson's under contract 6.4 for a while. But Anthony Stahl is coming off a $950,000 deal as a UFA. Maybe if sounds like they're going to keep Gibson for a while, maybe they do move him Stallers to be a starter somewhere else or get a better shot with a team that's competing. And I really don't know what they have in the pipeline for goaltenders, but that could be an option for them. Obviously, looking at head coach Dallas Eakins, I think he's pretty safe. He's done a pretty good job at developing young talent. Same with Pat Verbeek. I think they've done pretty well in the draft, and they have their young mold. It's just kind of if they can get the guys around them to build it out. So I think that'll be the big question this year is, are they finally taking that jump, or are they still rebuilding and they still need a couple pieces? I guess that will be the question. Will John Klingberg fit in this mold, or will he just be a rental? I guess it'll be interesting to see. There's still a lot of questions around the Ducks. Can the goaltending bounce back? Trevor Zegras, can he become the superstar that they think he's going to be? And just, can their defense get better? It's going to be one of those years for the Ducks. And then finally, before we get into predictions, their captain obviously gets off retired, so they don't have a captain this year as of right now. I don't picture them adding one. I think maybe they'll just go with a bunch of A's this year and maybe make a decision. I could be wrong. Don't know. The Ducks are crazy. If they have a guy lined up, maybe Shattenkirk, something like that. But it'll be interesting to see who all gets the A's. Does Klingberg get an A? Stuff like that. But prediction-wise, I think they'll be better than last year. I think they'll finish ahead of Seattle, probably ahead of the Sharks. But I don't think they'll be a playoff team yet. The West still has some solid teams. The Kings are still going to be there. Vegas is going to be better. So I think they're going to be a team that's up on the up. But I still don't think they're going to be ready to get over the hump yet to a playoff team. But yeah, that's my first preview, guys. The Anaheim Ducks. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Caps Corner Pod. All links will be down in the description. If there's something you want to see in these previews, a little more information, or if you have input on what I said about the Ducks, if you think I'm wrong, please be sure to let me know. And yeah, I'm excited to get these rolling. 32 of these episodes, 32 previews for these teams, so I'm excited to get them rolling here. And I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, we'll catch you in the next episode, guys. Peace.